Have you ever been told that you're an old soul? It's usually meant as a compliment. It means you're wise, you're mature, maybe just a little different from your peers. But what if that feeling of being older than you actually are isn't just some quirky personality trait? Well, it turns out there's a pretty fascinating psychological story behind it. And that's exactly what we're going to get into.
So, just think back for a second. Does this question hit home for you? Did you have this sense of responsibility when you were really young that maybe your friends just didn't? Do you always feel like you had to be the mature one in the room?
So let's start right there with that shared experience, that old soul feeling. It's something a lot of people recognize in themselves. And the first step to really understanding it is just acknowledging how common it is.
So, if you're nodding along right now, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. This isn't just some vague feeling you have. It's actually a recognized pattern, and it has a specific name in psychology.
And that name is parentification. Now, I know, it might sound a little bit clinical, but trust me, it perfectly captures the dynamic we're about to unpack. So, let's break down what it really means. So here's the crucial part. Parentification is all about a role reversal. The child, in some fundamental way, ends up becoming the caregiver. And we're not just talking about doing chores here. We're talking about shouldering adult-level emotional weight far, far too early. And what's really, really important is making this distinction right here. It's so vital to separate this from healthy development. I mean, giving a kid age-appropriate chores, that builds competence. It's great. But asking a child to manage a parent's anxiety or to basically act as their therapist, that's emotional parentification. You see the difference? One builds a child up, while the other forces them to give the support they should be getting. So, okay, how does an experience like that actually shape a person? Let's take a look at how it builds those common traits that we associate with being an old soul. The very first sign is something called survival independence. And this is more than just being independent. It's this deep, deep belief that you have to handle everything yourself because, from your experience, there was never another choice. You became the reliable one because you had no one else to rely on but yourself. Does this sound familiar at all? This is the kind of thing you tell yourself. It's the internal monologue of survival independence. And it feels like just being efficient, right? But really, it's often a defense mechanism that comes from a past where asking for help just wasn't safe, or maybe not even an option. All right, next up, being highly empathetic. This is another one of those skills that's really a survival skill. When your own peace and well-being depended on you being able to sense a parent's mood, you got incredibly good at tuning into the emotional undercurrents all around you. You learned to see what people needed before they even said a word. And that often comes with this built-in automatic sense of responsibility. It's not just, oh, I see they're upset. It's, I see they're upset and I have to fix it. And that can become an absolutely exhausting burden, turning your empathy into a constant job that you never get a break from.
All of this, well, it leads pretty logically to a really profound difficulty in asking for help. I mean, after years of being the caregiver, the idea of letting someone else take care of you can feel fundamentally wrong. It can feel like you're failing at your job or that you're just burdening them with your needs.
And this central paradox of being the old soul, because all of these traits, competence, empathy, independence, people celebrate them, but they come at a hidden and very real emotional cost. And this visual illustrates that cost perfectly. On the outside, you look so confident, so capable, so mature, off the charts. But on the inside, there's often this deep lack of emotional fulfillment. A feeling that your own needs, back when you were a kid, just never got met. Just think about that for a second. The very thing that you got praised for, your maturity, was really a performance that you put on because you had to. People saw this capable little adult, but they might have completely missed the actual child underneath, who just needed support and care. This, and right here, is why this matters so much. You only get one childhood. And when that time is spent taking care of others instead of just being a kid, well, the effects of that can shape your relationships, your career, and your relationship with yourself for decades to come. So the big question is, what do you do with this understanding? This isn't about blaming anyone, it's about awareness. It's about finally being able to look back and understand the story of how you became the person you are today. And that awareness, it's incredibly empowering. Look, your past explains your survival skills, but it does not have to define your future. Understanding this is what lets you have compassion for yourself. It helps you recognize that needing support isn't a weakness, and it lets you finally truly believe that your own needs are just as valid as anyone else's. So,
I'll just leave you with this question. Understanding where your old soul comes from isn't the end of the story. It's really the beginning of a brand new chapter. It gives you the pen. So knowing this, what are you going to write next?